This show contains spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Movies with Ron, movies with Ron.
Hell yeah, motherfucker!
Movies with Ron!
So I watched Phantasm Ravager.
All right, how was it?
It was pretty good. I slightly regret shitting on a Michael Baldwin. But only slightly.
All right. I heard it was his birthday. I felt bad. So now there you go.
You know what?
Making it right.
Happy birthday, man.
Phantasm Ravager. Hey, so I was working on the Ghost in the Shell episode. Was thinking about it. Thinking about the anime and realized why I gave up on it.
Why?
Well, in an animated form like that, I can't tell who's a robot because all the humans are augmented and who's an actual, cyborg thing that the girl was.
So it got annoying.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what was going on. It seemed like everyone was a robot. I don't know if it was on purpose, but didn't work for me. And hey, how does that Batu guy take a shower now?
Batu? With the eyes?
Yeah, the camera lens eyes.
Okay.
When he goes to bed, he puts lens caps on.
Do you think he has to, treat them, like Rain-X, to keep stuff from fogging up?
Welcome to episode 44 of Movies with Ron.
44.
The podcast where my older brother surprises me with a movie he saw because I don't go see him anymore. And he explains the whole thing to me from beginning to end. Keep listening and you'll end up liking his versions better. It's okay if you've seen the movie. It's okay if you haven't seen it. The experience is unique. So just keep listening.
10-4 on the 44.
I'm Chris, your MC for the time being.
And I am Rick, your sound man.
And I am the titular Ron.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, Planet Earth.
There's a new trailer for The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I heard.
And it looks just like the Brendan Fraser one.
Yeah.
There's even a thing where there's a giant cloud of stuff.
Yeah.
And it forms the mummy's face. Like, what?
Wow.
I know.
Seriously. Everyone was like, yeah, all right, it was cool. We'll do it again.
Oh, my God.
The hell. But here's what happens. Because they're making the monster universe of the classic monsters.
I'm still thinking that's probably going to fall through.
I mean, I still think they're trying to do it, though, right?
Yeah, but I just don't think it's going to go to full fruition.
Right. Because I think Tom Cruise is the mummy. See, what happens is they awaken her, they take her tomb, and it's flying in a plane. And that's when she wakes up in the new trailer. And he's like helping people put on the parachutes and stuff. And then he's the last one on the plane, and he doesn't have a parachute, and he crashes.
Yeah.
Then he wakes up in a body bag.
Right.
Right? And like some authority figure's like, she's chosen you for some reason. What is it,
Yeah.
Now he's kind of like indestructible, I guess. But she wants him to do something for her, but he chooses to fight her,
Yeah.
So that's how he's a match for the mummy. At the end of that movie, he's going to have to end up getting in the tomb. Because he's going to kill the mummy, and he's going to be the only supernatural thing that's left.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, you got to put me away.
I hear you.
He's got to do that heroic sacrifice. And they seal him up, and then once they're ready to make that Avengers-style film with these monsters.
Yeah, where they all come together.
Yeah, he's going to come out, and he's going to be like wrapped in fucking gauze.
Yeah.
Or maybe he'll be like a zombie Tom Cruise, but he'll still be like a badass. Yeah, zombie Tom Cruise. Yeah.
You're giving me hope.
I can do a zombie Tom Cruise. But something of this stinks just a tad.
It's called The Mummy, and you think it's the woman, but once you get to the end, you realize he was the mummy all along.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
So Sigourney Weaver
Yes?
just announced that Avatar 2 will begin shooting in the fall. Who the
I
hell
know.
else thought it was already done?
I know, right? What the fuck?
Isn't that bullshit?
How long has it been? Like 10 years?
Yeah.
What's he been doing since then? Like inventing ways to film the movie.
Yeah.
That's what he's been doing. Like, what the hell? And I don't like Avatar. Like,
I
it's not
do like
important
Avatar.
to me.
It's not important,
But
but
I
it's
know
still
it's a
good.
big thing for other people. Like, they're impatient. They're getting pissed off. After that, he has to make like 4 more.
He's making them all at the same time.
Yeah, that's still a long fucking time. And he
know.
should have started sooner.
I know. Like, oh, man. Who cares anymore?
I'm not impressed.
Everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, Sam Worthington, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's a thing.
Y'all ever hate watching animals die in movies?
Yeah.
Never.
Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens for a reason, but other times not so much. Like I watched the movie Signs,
Yeah.
M. Night movie. That was the last of his like good movies. Oh, but apparently Split. That's a really good story. So you should go back and listen to our episode of Split. It's worth checking out, people.
Oh, yeah.
But in Signs, they're in the house and they're listening to see if the aliens have landed, and they can hear the dog barking outside, and they're like, "Oh, we forgot to put him in the garage."
Yeah.
And because like M. Night wrote himself into a trap where no one can die and no tension can rise, you hear the dog like roof, roof, roof.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Ooh." And then it's like never acknowledged after that. It's just a tool to make you realize the aliens landed and they're lethal.
Yeah.
Because they would kill a dog. Like, fuck that shit. There's a blog called DoesTheDogDie.com. And they have a compendium of films. If you want to check, if you don't like that shit, go to DoesTheDogDie.com. All right, there's a movie I want to see. It's an old one. It's
Yeah.
called The Wrong Guy.
Yeah.
It's got Dave Foley in it. He's the main dude. Let's see. It's from 1997. I still haven't seen the 1999 version of Taken. I still want to. People listening out there, if you've seen it, let me know how they are. Also, if you've seen The Wrong Guy. And here's the synopsis. After his boss is murdered, Nelson is on the run for fear of prosecution. He hides out in a small town to avoid the police, which should be easy because they know he did not do it and they aren't looking for him. I don't know. I just want to see that. I think, like, funny comedy. I don't know. Does he find himself? Seems good. I want to see it. All right. Let me recommend a movie
Go.
from 2009. It's called Moon. Rick, did you ever see Moon?
I think I did. Sam Rockwell?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I was up late one night and nobody was awake. It was the perfect time to watch Moon.
Yeah. And
Because it was very isolated and dark. And you know what? It came on. I was like, oh, Sam. What's up, Sam?
he's totally isolated in that movie.
Yeah.
He's the only guy. And he's got Kevin Spacey as the little robot that follows him around.
Yeah, man.
And he's the lone mining technician on the moon. They've got, it's all automated, but he's just the guy who like makes sure everything's running right, and he's doing his tour of duty.
Yeah.
You know, and where after a certain number of years, he's gonna go back to his family on Earth. But then another Sam Rockwell shows up.
Yeah, man.
Right? And we can't say too much because shit unfolds, but it's like, is it his twin? Is it a clone? Is he going crazy? Because it seems like he's going crazy.
Yeah.
All alone on the moon. Like, what's going on here? I asked Candy if she saw Moon. She loves Sam Rockwell.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, do you mean Box of Moonlight? Which is also a fucking fantastic Sam Rockwell movie. But she hadn't seen it, so I
Oh,
was like,
man.
I got to recommend this. Yeah.
All right.
And y'all remember Candy. She was our co-host on part 2 of My Science Project.
Yeah, everybody needs to see Moon. That movie was great.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It's directed by Duncan Jones, who's David Bowie's son. He also made Warcraft.
Yep.
Hey.
Yeah, remember that? So I start checking out his movies he's got coming out.
Uh-huh.
Not making a Warcraft 2. But he's making a movie called Mute. And it stars that blonde vampire from True Blood.
Yeah.
But the guy's mute, so yeah, thank God, right?
I know.
He was in Tarzan where he didn't say a fucking thing, and he's just sticking with what he knows. But anyways, he's mute. It's in the future, like the near future. His girlfriend goes missing. He's trying to find the girlfriend. I think one of the bad guys is Paul Rudd.
Uh-huh.
So, like, they're doing some weird experimentation with this movie.
Yeah.
It seems intriguing. I go to the IMDb for Mute, and I see that Sam Rockwell is in it, and he plays Sam Bell, his character from Moon.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. So I start trying to read about this movie, and Duncan Jones says it's not about Sam Bell, but you get to find out what happened to him after Moon.
That is awesome.
Fuck yeah, dude. So people, there's a movie coming out called Mute. You have to see Moon if you're going to see that. You'll find out why we are so excited.
Oh, man, that is so cool.
Wow.
Anybody see Power Rangers?
I did not, but we do know about Power Rangers, right?
Yeah?
About the actor who's in it? Guy playing the Blue Ranger? Guys, he is from the very town that we are recording in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I wanted to see it.
All right.
I want to root for the home team, baby.
So is that what you went to see?
No.
All right.
But I did hear that Saban has a plan for 6 Power Ranger movies.
Damn.
Jesus.
Okay, Saban, bring 'em on.
Is it doing well in theaters? I stopped paying attention to it.
Me too.
Okay.
But I was talking to a buddy at work, Mike, and he said that it was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Might even be episode worthy. Unfortunately, I didn't go see it.
Even if it doesn't do well, that company, Saban, I'm sure there's some guy high up in there that's like, let's do it anyways. Let's keep doing it.
Yeah. He said it was definitely better than the Ivan Ooze one, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because
I
I
like
love that one.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It holds its own.
Definitely. So I don't know. We might be doing it.
Sweet.
So nothing new came out this weekend that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should have done it.
Something about Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman and some other dude trying to rob a bank.
Yeah, man. So fuck it. Let's do They Live.
Hey! Oh my God.
I know, right?
They live? Yes.
It's time.
Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Oh, yes.
The one and only.
Yeah, God bless him.
Well, hopefully his co-star, the much beloved Keith David, sticks around for many, many years.
Yeah. Good old Keith David.
Please stay. Don't leave us.
At Keith David, don't die. Take care of yourself.
We love you. God, Keith David. I loved him in The Thing.
I loved him in that movie, Men at Work. What do you know about anything?
I liked him in Requiem for a Dream. No.
Oh, my God.
He was in the Nice Guys. He was the guy who shot up Russell Crowe's case of Yoo-Hoo bottles.
Oh, yeah.
He ruined all the Yoo-Hoo.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the world, 1988's They Live on Movies with Ron.
All right, so we start with the Universal logo. And it says John Carpenter's They Live. And it's like written all,
Scratchy.
yeah, and crooked.
Yeah.
And that's just white over a black screen. And then the black screen fades away, and we see that it's actual graffiti on a wall in some alley somewhere. And we got the theme music of the movie, which is this, a real bluesy doom 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 doom. Doom 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 doom. Which happens throughout in various forms.
Yeah. I listened to John Carpenter's scores for his movies on YouTube, and then like 5 years down the road, YouTube's like, hey, remember you used to listen to this stuff? Why don't you listen to it some more? It's like, man, he made good music for his movies.
Man. And he did it all himself.
Yeah.
So then we see we're in a train yard, and there is a homeless, rowdy Roddy Piper walking towards the camera.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look too dirty, you know, a little rugged. He's got a backpack with a sleeping bag on it.
Mm-hmm. He knows how to survive.
Yeah, he's just walking the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got himself that real nice mullet. So we're in downtown L.A., and it's all grimy and dirty. And he's like walking through the streets, and there's other people, and everybody just looks pretty downtrodden. And he like walks over to a sewer grate with some steam rising out of it. He's like warming his hands. So he walks into the unemployment office, and everybody's like, Depression Festival. Everything sucks for everybody. So he's sitting here and he's talking to this like scratchy voiced lady, and he's like, yeah, you know, I was in Denver, and, you know, worked there for 10 years. You know, 14 banks closed in a week. And the lady's just like, we don't have anything for you right now. She just doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And Roddy just looks down. It is a depression festival.
Yeah.
So he's walking outside, and he walks by a blind street preacher. And there's like 5 people listening to him, and he's like, they use their tongues to deceive. The venom of snakes is under their lips. In their mouths curses, and they have no fear of God. They have taken the hearts and the minds of our leaders, recruited the rich and powerful, and they are outside of our sight, feeding off of us. And then the cops roll up. So it cuts to like a storefront, and there's some TVs, and they're all showing commercials for all this commercial shit. I don't know. And there's this one dude just like standing there, just staring at him. He can't hear it or anything. He's just like watching TV on the street. And then Roddy is like in some alley somewhere, standing over a barrel fire. Surviving, baby. And there's a window open, and some lady's watching soap operas. And there's this bitch on the TV saying like, oh, all I ever have to do is be famous, and people will watch me and love me. And Roddy's like super depressed. And he's hating life. So it cuts to the next day, and he's walking up to a construction site. And he's asking for a job, and he's like, I have my own tools. And I'm like, well, that's all he's carrying around in his backpack. That shit's heavy. So the guy's like, this is a union job. He's like, well, may I please speak to the shop steward? So then we get brawny, bare-chested Roddy Piper on the job.
Yeah, he's not so big. Yeah. Oh, fuck. I'm Russian now.
So anyway, yeah, he looks like a fucking professional wrestler on a construction site, shoveling. And then across the yard is Keith David. He's shoveling too. And he like looks over and he sees the beautiful, godlike Roddy Piper. And he gets a little, maybe a little jealous, like, oh shit. And he starts like working a little harder. So the day's over, and Roddy is like unpacking his shit, getting ready to camp. And the boss is like, hey, there's no sleeping on this site, so park your ass somewhere else. And Roddy's like, oh, fuck. So then Keith David is like, you need a place to stay. And know about a shelter. They got hot food and showers. You know, I could show you. And Roddy just like stares at him and doesn't care. And then Keith is like, oh, all right, fuck it. And he leaves. And then Roddy Piper starts following him. And it goes on for a little while. And Keith David finally turns around and he's like, listen, man, I don't like nobody following me unless I know why. Well, I don't turn up with nobody till I see where he's going. So then they laugh, and then they walk together. And then they get to the happiest homeless shelter you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
It's like a utopia of homeless people all working together. It's a little shanty town.
I loved this movie as a kid, but seeing it as an adult, at this part, I was like, where are all the schizophrenics?
I know. So Keith takes him to meet Gilbert. And he's like, yeah, anything you need, he knows where to find it. And Gilbert's like, yeah, hey, you got some tools there? Well, if you know how to use them, we could use you. And he's like, yeah, okay. So then they go and they get in the food line. So now they're in a better mood, and everything's all kind and happy. And they're sitting there together eating, and Keith David's like, yeah, man, I got a wife and kids in Detroit. Haven't seen them in 6 months. But, Detroit Steel, it collapsed. We gave them a break when they needed it, and they gave themselves raises. I'm telling you, man, it's a golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. And Roddy's like, you ought to have some more patience. Yeah, well, I'm all out. It's like a game, okay? And the name of the game is Make It Through Life. And everybody's out for themselves. It's like, all right, you do what you can to get by, all right? And I'll do my best to blow your ass away. And they're looking at the LA skyline, and he's like, so, how you gonna make it? He's like, well, I deliver a hard day's work for my money, and I believe in America, okay? And I follow the rules. Everybody's got hard times. He's a pretty optimistic guy.
Yeah.
So then it's nighttime, and a whole bunch of these bums are like, gathered around the TV watching it. It's like commercials for like press on nails and stuff and buy things. And then the TV gets all staticky and a pirate signal comes in. And the guy's like, our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an induced consciousness that resembles sleep. And the bums are like, oh, goddamn hacker. There's a second time tonight this asshole's cut in. And the guy's like, 8 months ago, a small group of scientists discovered signals being sent through. And then it keeps going in and out. And Roddy's just kind of standing behind him watching him, and he's like, oh, man. And he, holds the bridge of his nose like he's got a headache or something. And then the bums are like, this thing's giving me a headache. So then it comes back, and the guy's like, the poor and the underclass are growing. They've created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Right about here, Roddy Piper looks off into the distance, and he sees the blind street preacher. Really far away, too far away to hear this TV, and he is sermonizing to nobody. But he is perfectly lip-syncing the words that this hacker on TV is saying.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. It's got some sort of psychic connection to what's going on here. Mm-hmm. So he goes on, and he's like, their intentions to rule lie in the annihilation of consciousness. The preacher's still doing it. We've been lulled into a trance, indifferent to ourselves and others. And we're focused only on our own gain. Turns out this movie is all about commercialism and, Reaganomics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty heavy on that shit. Anyway, then the signal goes out, and there's just a logo for the cable company. Cable 54. Boo! Like they're having technical difficulties. And then Roddy sees that the preacher, stops talking. He lost his signal, too. Anyway, the TV comes back on, and then the bum is like, blow it out your ass. And then Roddy looks over, and he sees Gilbert walking over to the preacher, and they're, arguing. And he's like, come on, come inside. He pulls him inside of this church that they're all outside of. So he decides to forget about it, and he leaves. So the next day, he's walking by Gilbert, and he's like, choir practice ran a little late last night. Oh, yeah, the church lets us use their kitchen. Yeah, till 4 a.m. Yeah, we're taking care of a lot of people here. He brushes it off. And then we see the same bums are still sitting there watching the TV. And the signal starts fucking up again. And the guy's talking about how, sleeping middle class, we're all being bred for cattle. More people are becoming poor, and we're all going to be slaves. And the bum's like, oh, not again. The guy on TV is like, oh, we can't break their signal. Our transmitter is not powerful enough. At this point, you see Gilbert walk by, and he's watching the TV, and he's getting all distressed. This little girl's like, Daddy, I have a headache. Fucking giving everybody headaches. I don't know. So the hacker's like, we need to shut their signal down at the source. And then we see Gilbert, he runs into the church, okay? And Roddy follows him in, and there's all this choir singing happening. And he's sneaking in, and the singing's real loud. He's walking in, and he finds this weird little makeshift lab set up. Mm-hmm. And then all these rows of sunglasses laying on the table. And on the wall, there's some graffiti that says, they live, we sleep. He looks, and he finds the singing is coming from a fucking tape recorder. We can hear Gilbert, he's talking to a bunch of people, and he's like, I checked it. There's nothing wrong. Only a couple of seconds are getting through. It's time to forget breaking into their signal. They're just going to jam us out again. Then we see the guy he's talking to, and it's the hacker from the TV. And he's like, well, then it's time to put the shipment on the street. And he's like, no, that won't be enough. You know, we need to find strong people. People that are going to work with us. You know, what are we going to do? Manufacture Hoffman lenses till we're blue in the face. You know, we won't reach enough people. At that point, Roddy looks over and he's like, Hoffman lenses, you know, sees all these sunglasses. And then he finds a false wall. Okay, and he opens it up. He looks inside and there's like cardboard boxes and shit. He decides to leave and turns around and then gets grabbed by the fucking blind preacher. And he's like, whoa, man. And the preacher's like, let me feel your face. Come here, let me feel your face. Oh, no, man, I'm just part of the neighborhood watch, you know. He's like, yeah, it's the revolution, you know. Let me show you. He's like, oh, no. I gotta go, man. I gotta go. You'll be back. He runs outside and there's like a chopper hovering over the building in the air, just kind of like flying around, maybe looking for something. Uh-huh. So Keith David's watching him and he goes over and gets a pair of binoculars and he sits down and he's like watching the church. And he sees Gilbert and a bunch of guys like moving a whole bunch of boxes out of the church into a car, and then he drives away. And then Keith is like, what's going on, man? He scares him. He tells him what he saw, you know, all the boxes in the lab and shit. He's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Keith David's like, you know what, just leave it alone. Ain't none of your business, ain't none of mine. Anyway, he leaves, and then Roddy at night is still watching the fucking church. Like, he just got a job. And he has decided no. So he sees the chopper show up again. And a whole bunch of people come rushing out of the church. And everybody's running. And then there's police sirens and shit. Oh, holy shit. It's a fucking raid on the church.
Yeah.
And it goes like crazy, man. There's like cops in riot gear showing up. They're all throwing flares and everything. They pull up in a bulldozer. And they just start leveling the shanty town. For some reason, man.
Yeah.
They're beating people. Roddy's like wandering around watching. You know, oh my God. So everything's getting destroyed and he runs away and comes around a corner and he finds these riot cops just like beating the shit out of the hacker and the blind street preacher. It's like fucking beating him to death. So he finds this like scared kid and he's like, come on, man. They run into some apartment building and like outside is just complete chaos. Anyway, they find some squatters that are all scared and hiding in there, and he's like, yeah, you go with them. He just pawns the kid off on them. It's fine.
Yeah.
So after that, it cuts to daytime. There's all this TV noise, and we see everybody scrounging through all their shit, trying to find stuff. And the church is all burned out, but Rowdy goes in. Everything is ransacked, except for that false wall that he saw. So he goes over and he opens it up and finds in it one single cardboard box. So he steals it. He has to walk out and like avoid a cop car driving by. Mm-hmm. Goes over and finds another one of many alleys that we will be in this movie. Yeah, John Carpenter knows how to film cheap. So he opens up the box and it's nothing but sunglasses. And he's like, what the fuck? So he digs underneath them, and there's nothing. Just sunglasses. So he takes a pair, and then he hides the rest in a garbage can. And then he walks out onto the street, the busy city street, and he puts them on.
So then he puts on the sunglasses, and he starts walking around the main street. And he sees that everybody is naked, beautiful women. And he can't stop staring. And he's foaming at the mouth, and he's like, oh, shit, this is what have I stumbled upon here? And he takes off his sunglasses, everybody normal, and he puts his sunglasses back on, and everybody's back to being fucking swimsuit models and Playboy, you know.
Okay, so back to when he put the sunglasses on. He looks at this billboard. All right, first of all, everything's black and white. All right, whenever he puts the sunglasses on. He looks at this billboard, and it's just a blank white sign with black letters that say, obey. He takes them off, and it's a normal advertisement. Mm-hmm. Looks at another one that says, come to the Caribbean. And he puts the glasses on, and it just says, marry and reproduce. He's walking around. He's looking at other signs. One says men's apparel. Under the glasses, it says no independent thought. A sign for closeout sale is actually consume. And he looks off into the cityscape, sees all the signs, right? And they all say that same shit, like conform, consume, stay asleep, submit. There's one that says like work 8 hours, sleep 8 hours, play 8 hours. Okay, remember, it's all in black and white. So he goes up to a newsstand. All the magazines are just white pages with black letters on them. Black. Yeah. And he starts reading through them. And it's just more of that same shit. Just he opens up a magazine and says, "Don't question authority." So then this guy walks up to buy a newspaper. Roddy turns and looks at him and just stares at him in complete disbelief. And the guy's like, "What's your problem?" And then we see his face. And his face is all fucked up. All right. He looks like he has no skin. Okay. Yeah. He doesn't have any lips. His teeth are just like, open exposed teeth. And he's got these giant bulbous eyeballs just like poking out of his head.
Yeah.
It looks like some kind of, zombie or, alien.
Yeah. It's like a zombie and a Mars Attacks kind of alien.
Yeah.
It's weird. So the sunglasses, he puts them on and he sees the secrets.
Yeah.
Okay. So when the
he
sunglasses,
sees the world beneath.
When the sunglasses are off, those words on the billboards and the pages are still there. But when he puts them back on, he sees what's affecting people like subconsciously.
Yes.
Yeah. And weird alien people.
Yeah. So he's looking at this guy. He takes his sunglasses off and it's just like some normal rich asshole buying a newspaper. Yeah. He's just staring at him. I said, "What's your problem?" Rowdy's just fucking staring at him, and the guy walks away and goes and he pays for his paper. As he's doing so, Rowdy puts the glasses back on, and then the guy looks back at him. And that's probably one of the creepiest shots ever, if not just in this movie, So then the newsstand guy, who is a human, walks up to him and is like, "Hey, buddy, you going to pay for that?" Roddy looks down at the money in the guy's hand, and it's just blank white paper that says, "This is your God."
That's fucking badass.
I know. It's like the coolest thing ever. So then he just runs away and leaves. So he's looking at a traffic light, right? And above it is this weird little speaker rotating satellite dish. And now, for some reason, even though he's just wearing sunglasses, he can hear this voice going, "Sleep, sleep, sleep." But, we forgive it.
Yeah.
He looks around and he sees aliens walking around all over the place, mixed in with all the humans. Looks into a hair salon. There's an alien. An alien and a human are next to each other under hair dryers, and they're just talking about shit. Talking about so-and-so's birthday party and blah, blah, blah.
Jeez.
So he wanders into a supermarket, and all the shoppers are aliens, and all of the workers are humans.
Yeah.
Takes the glasses off, everybody looks normal. Back on, fucking aliens having conversations about so-and-so's party. You see a couple of businessmen, one is an alien, one is not, and the human is like, "Well, that's easy for you to say, you got the promotion." And the alien is like, "Hey, man, don't worry, just go for it, man. I'm telling you, just go for it." On TV, there's a politician talking at a podium in front of a big sign that says "Obey." And he's like, "We don't need pessimism. We're on the right track and shit." And Roddy's watching the TV and he's just like, "Huh. Oh, man. Fucking figures it'd be something like this."
Yeah.
And then some woman bumps into him from behind. And you can tell, even though she bumped into him, she is annoyed. And she's like, "Excuse me." And he turns around, and it's some alien lady in a fur coat.
Yeah.
All right. Now, all these aliens, they all have hair. They all have normal human hairstyles.
Yeah.
So they're all different hairstyles, but, they're all basically the same face.
Yeah. It's a creepy fucking face.
It
dude.
is,
You
man.
even see, like, kids, I think.
Yes.
Don't you? Yeah.
I think so. And he looks at her and he's like, "Lady, You look like your head fell in a cheese dip back in 1957. And she's all shocked, like, why, I never. He turns around, sees a normal human woman, and he's like, you? You're okay. Points back at the first lady, and he's like, you? Real fucking ugly. You see, I take these glasses off, and she looks like a regular person, okay? But if I put them back on, formaldehyde face. And then that lady, that alien lady, just like starts talking into her wristwatch, and she's like, I've got one that can see.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, they're
that was
organized.
a creepy moment. Yeah.
Yeah. But to the human woman, she's just seeing a crazy homeless guy on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in a supermarket, but yeah.
Okay.
So she's talking into this wristwatch, and she starts giving a description of Roddy Piper. And he looks around into the rest of the supermarket, and all the other aliens are doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
So he runs. And he's outside, and he sees some alien lady like fixing her hair in the reflection of the window. And he stops, and he goes, huh, that's like pouring perfume on a pig. She turns and looks at him. And right then, a cop grabs him and pushes him into another alley. Okay, so we're in an alley again. He takes him in there for a beat down. He's talking into his radio, and he's like, I got him. He's like, yeah, hey, where'd you get those glasses? Roddy's like, yeah, Tooth Fairy. It's like, yeah, that's funny. Hey, you nick yourself shaving this morning. And then the cop, who now we see outside of Roddy's vision, is just, looks like a normal human. But he looks at Roddy, and he's like, you look as shitty to us as we do to you. Now, you stumbled onto something here, man, okay? Now, we might be able to work this out, okay? So it's beneficial to both of us. So why don't we go somewhere quiet and talk this over? Roddy, fuck it, punches him, okay? Punches him, beats the shit out of both cops, who are both armed patrol cops, okay? And this fucking professional wrestler just took him down. So he pulls one of the cops' guns out. There's another cop behind him that surprises him. He just turns around and blows that fucker away.
Yeah.
And he's like, see, you bastards died just like we do. And then the other cop gets up, so he kills him too. So now he is a killer.
Yeah.
He's a cop killer. But you know what? While he's on a roll, he goes over to the patrol car and pulls their shotgun out. Okay? And then leaves. Decides for some reason to walk into a bank. All right, so he goes into the bank and he stops. And he's just standing there and he looks all fucking cool, right? It's like long blonde hair, sunglasses, shotgun. And then this is one of the most famous lines in cinema. And everybody stops and they're all watching him. And he just says, I have come here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of bubble gum. And then he just starts shooting aliens.
Yeah.
Okay, now the whole scene takes place in black and white, and all he shoots is aliens. But to the real world, he just looks like a fucking maniac.
Yeah. I saw this as a kid, and I didn't connect the irony there.
Yeah.
I was just like, kill those fucking aliens, dude.
Yeah, man, get them.
See it as an adult, and it's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on.
Yeah. So there's one alien in the corner, and he's giving a description of Rowdy, and he's like, yeah, he has a shotgun, wearing sunglasses, white male, 30s, long hair. Roddy turns to him and points a shotgun at him, and he goes, Mama don't like tattletales. And then the alien just like pushes a button on his watch and disappears. Poof.
Fuck.
Rowdy's like, all right. And he just runs outside. He's in another alley. And he sees this small, tiny little flying saucer up above him. Beep, 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 beep. And then it, like, this little camera comes out of it, and it's like looking at him. And Roddy goes, and who are you, little fella? The camera like zooms in on him, and he's like, come to show him where I am. Not nice. And then just points his gun at it and shoots it. You see all of that from the point of view of the saucer. He turns around, and he's still wearing the glasses, so it's black and white. but there's a human cop in front of him.
Yeah.
Pointing a gun. And Roddy just looks at him and he's like, drop it. He's got this shotgun pointed at him. And the cop just like, drops his gun. He's not a very good cop.
He's waiting for backup.
So he's just got him. And then he looks at the cop and he's like, now beat your feet. And the cop just turns and runs away. Worst cop ever. Okay, so now we are in a parking garage. And we meet the, pretty much the only female in the movie. Played by Meg Foster. And Rick was looking this movie up and mentioned her eyes. Okay, her weirdly, strikingly blue eyes.
Okay,
Yeah.
strikingly blue. Like too light a blue to even... It doesn't make any sense. She almost looks like a blind woman.
Yeah, she does not look human.
Yeah.
All right, now, I love blue eyes.
I think casting her was intentional on that part, though. Like, it kind of weird. Her eyes weird you out.
Yeah.
You don't know what to think of her.
All right, so then Rowdy just walks up and he kidnaps her at gunpoint because he needs a ride. She's like, oh my God, what's going on? And he's like, come on, drive. Not too fast. So they get in her BMW and then they're leaving. They pass by all of these speeding cop cars and she's like, okay, they're gone. So then he takes his glasses off and he kind of relaxes a little bit in the car and he's got a headache. Wearing the glasses gives you a headache, just like the TV pirate signals did.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, just keep driving. Let's go to your place. And she's like, no. And he's like, I'm afraid I must insist. So they get to her house and there's like her neighbor is like watching her. And you're like, oh, is he an alien? And we don't get to find out.
Yeah.
So we just see her get out of the car and then Roddy gets out of the car. He's wearing his sunglasses and he's like walking real close to her. We know that he's got her at gunpoint, but it looks like she's leading her blind friend into her home.
Okay.
They get inside and she's like, so what do you want? And he's like, just quiet. All right, things turned out a little sour for me today. And she's like, yeah, you're not the only one. But, and then she gets all weird, like weirdly submissive. And she's like, but you're in charge. And there's an obvious double take where he just like looks up where you can tell that in his mind, he's like, sex? And he's like, look, we're in trouble. And then he tries to explain, there's fucking aliens walking around and all I can see, you can only see them with these glasses and everything. And he just sounds like a fucking crazy person, obviously. She's like, no, I get it. You're fighting the forces of evil that you can't see without sunglasses. And he's like, God damn it. Anyway, he's beat and he kind of lays there and he's like, maybe passing out, maybe falling asleep. So then she starts sneaking towards him, and without opening his eyes, he just goes, don't fuck with me. Look, I'm sorry I have to be here. Your name's, what's your name? Holly. Yeah, that's a pretty name. So what do you do? I'm the assistant program director at Cable 54. The TV station? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, and he gets up and he's like, they're sending some kind of signals out of the TV sets. So he goes over to the TV and goes to turn it on. And for a moment, his back is to her. So then she clubs him over the fucking head with a bottle and pushes him right the fuck out the window. Right through the glass. So he falls down like what? They are on the second story. He falls down, hits some hill, and then slides all the way down it. And it was like a rough little ride. So he's like, he's on the ground outside, and he's like, oh, Jesus. She's like getting up, and it cuts to her inside, and she's already called the police. And she's like, no, I'm all right. Yes, Holly Thompson. She gives her address, and she looks down, and she sees his sunglasses are on the floor. Mm-hmm. Cuts to Roddy, and he's hiding like underneath her house on stilts or some shit. I don't know. And he sees that there's cops coming and, sirens are running. So he just limps away. Then it's dark out and he's hiding out in another fucking alley. And then there's choppers flying around. Okay, like looking for him. So the next morning, he goes to the construction site and he finds Keith David. And he's like, Frank! Keith David walks over to her. He's like looking around like, man, keep it down, man. He's like, you better not let nobody see you. He's like, look, man, I've had a rough couple of days. God damn, man, how many people did you kill? He's like, not people. Listen, I don't want nothing to do with you. Well, I gotta show you something. No, man, get out of here. So then Rowdy just leaves, and he goes to find the box of sunglasses that he hid in the garbage.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And we get a real weirdly unnecessary sequence here. Goes to the garbage can. It's empty. And he's like, shit. But behind him is a garbage truck. So they're probably right in there and he can go and get them. You can hear the garbage men like arguing with each other. And Rowdy just jumps into the back of the garbage truck and starts clawing through all the garbage looking for the cardboard box.
Yeah.
So he finds it. And the garbage men are still arguing. And here's the unnecessary thing. One of them just goes, oh, yeah? Watch this. And then he just dumps the garbage truck right there in the alley. So then Rowdy's like, oh, shit. And he like slides down with all the garbage out into the street. But then he just gets up and he leaves. Like there was no point to that.
Yeah.
He's walking around and then Keith David just goes, yo. He turns and sees him and he's holding out some money. He's like, 1 week's pay, man. This is the best I can do. Roddy puts on a new pair of glasses to verify that Keith David is human.
Yeah.
Keith is already leaving, and he's like, wait. Keith turns around and says, man, you better hide and pray that nobody ever finds you. Come on, you got to try these on. He's like, look, you crazy mother. Hey, I'm telling you. And then Keith David just punches Rowdy right in the face.
Yeah.
And so begins the world-famous 5-minute-long fist fight from They Live.
This fight is fucking absurd.
It's fucking epic absurd. Best fight you've ever seen in any movie ever.
Yeah.
So Rowdy's like, look, man, I'm trying to save your life. Keith's like, man, you couldn't even save your own. Rowdy's like, I'm giving you a choice here, man. All right? Either put these glasses on or start eating that trash can. He's going to kick his ass. Keith says, not this year. Rowdy's like, okay, all right. And then they both put up their dukes and start circling. So Keith David kind of gets the upper hand first. He punches him a couple times. Rowdy recovers, and he's like, listen, I don't want to fight you. Just put on the glasses. No! And then he punches Rowdy right in the face again. He ends up on the ground, okay? And then Keith David, he's still a cool guy. He's standing over him, and he holds out his hand. Come on, man. We had it out. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Come on, get up. Get up. And he says to him, man, I told you I didn't want to get involved. So he helps Rowdy up and then fucking punches him again. Down to the ground. Roddy's on the ground, and Keith lifts his head up by his hair. And at that point, Roddy goes for a nut punch. Keith David catches his fucking hand, and he goes, you dirty motherfucker. And then Rowdy just headbutts him and, sends him flying back. This time, Keith David goes down, and he goes down good. Rowdy pulls him up, and he's like, come on, take a look. Put him on. Keith David takes the glasses, like he's going to put them on, and he's like, yeah. And then he drops them on the ground and goes to stomp on him. And Rowdy's like, no! And he bends down to get him, and then Keith David kicks him in the fucking face. And he just throws the glasses away. Rowdy gets up and just full-on charges at him. And then they just start scuffling and punching and rolling around and shit. Thought I saw a couple of wrestling moves in there. Some kind of suplex or something, whatever you call it.
I was thinking suplex.
So he slams him down on the ground. They're rolling. Keith David bites Roddy's fucking hand. He screams. They're rolling, and then Roddy gets on top of Keith David and starts jamming his fucking thumb down into his eye. He's like, ah! They both struggle to get up. Now they're like seriously out of breath. They both kind of need a second. And then Rowdy walks over and he picks up a fucking 2x4. Okay. And he actually like swings it a couple of times, but, he was still pretty weak and punch drunk. So, he just misses, obviously. But then he swings one more time and just misses Keith David, but he ends up hitting like a car windshield and it shatters. Keith David looks at him like, what the fuck? And Roddy's like, oh man. And he drops the 2x4 and he's like, oh man, I'm sorry. Keith David, still pissed off, picks up a bottle and then breaks it on the car like he's going to break it and then attack him with it.
Yeah.
But he ends up like cutting his hand when he breaks it. And he's like, fuck. And Roddy just starts fucking laughing. That pisses Keith off and he just charges him and they roll around and punch each other some more. Roddy's like, put the glasses on, put them on. Keith David fucking body slams Roddy and then throws the glasses down on his chest because Roddy's just like fucking laying there like, oh shit. Throws the glasses on his chest, leans down and just says, fuck you. So he's like kind of walking away and the fight is pretty much over. And he's out of breath. He's like walking. He walks over to this wall and he leans on it. And he's like catching his breath. He's like holding his back like he's hurting. He turns around and Roddy is already charging at him again. The fight is not over. And Keith is like, ah! Roddy slams him down, physically puts the glasses onto his face, and then pulls him up and out to the street. And he's like, look at them. They're everywhere. Right in front of them is a nice alien couple walking along the street who are already talking into their wristwatches saying, maybe they can see. Keith David is totally shocked.
Yeah.
Roddy's like, now hold on, all right? You ain't the first son of a bitch to wake up out of their dream, all right? Brother, life's a bitch, and she's back in heat. So it just cuts to them both wearing sunglasses, walking down the street, very, very beat up. They are in bad shape. They're walking all slow. They walk into a fucking hotel and get a room. Keith David's like, he keeps peeking out the window, looking at the weird city, right? He sees all the signs and the flying saucers and stuff. And Roddy's like, hey, don't wear those glasses too long, man. It'll start hurting. Keith David can't believe it still. He's like, man, how long have they been here? What are they? Where'd they come from? What are we going to do now, man? We got to find the people. We got to find the people who made these sunglasses. Anyway, they're still in the hotel room. They gotta rest up after what they'd just been through. And Roddy is also, he's hiding out. He's a wanted murderer. So it's nighttime and it's all quiet, and Roddy kind of tells him his story about how his dad was all abusive to him. And Keith is like, yeah, maybe they've always been here. Maybe they feed on our cruelty. And Roddy's like, well, there's going to be hell to pay. So the next day, Keith David is walking back into the hotel with a bag of groceries. And it turns out that Gilbert, one of the guys who made the sunglasses, has found him. Mm-hmm. So he's like, hey, Frank, they end up in the hotel room and he's like, yeah, okay. Yes, I'm glad we found you guys. We got a meeting tonight. All right. 11 o'clock. The world needs a wake up call and we're going to phone it in. So then Keith and Roddy, they make it to the meeting and there's this big burly biker watching the door. And he's like, brothers, something new going down. And he points at his eyes and he is not wearing sunglasses. It is nighttime and both of the other two are. So they go in and there is a whole bunch of people inside. And most of them are actors that we recognize from before who didn't die in the Shantytown raid.
Yeah.
So this is the resistance. And there's even kids there because you can hear this kid go like, what kind of gun is this? So there's this nice lady and she's like, oh, hey guys, it's good to see you. I'm glad you made it. You can take those glasses off. We're all humans in here. And you know what? Here you go. And she gives them contact lenses.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, these are brand new. We just got them in. And, they won't give you a headache like the glasses. So they put them on. And then Gilbert starts talking to he starts the meeting. He's like, yeah, the cops, they're all over. They're looking for us. Okay. Now, most of the cops, they're humans. All right. And they've been told that we're commies, trying to take down the government. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So in this meeting, we find out that there are humans who actually sell out to the aliens. When that happens, they like get promoted and the aliens like make them rich in exchange for their service. The aliens are here to deplete our resources and then just move on to more planets. And like our Earth is like a third world to them.
Yeah.
So Gilbert's like, we need an assault unit to hit them hard, when the time comes. And Roddy's like, well, you got it. They see this other guy, and he explains the watches and how they're, some sort of two-way communicator that they can talk to the home base with, and then it also obviously can teleport them away in times of trouble.
Yeah.
So Gilbert's telling everybody, we have to pretend that we don't know to keep up appearances until we can take them out. And everybody else is like, no, we got to fight. We got to spill some of their blood for a change. And he's like, no, we got to shut down their signal. We just need to find where it is. So-and-so over here thinks it's in KRDA, some other TV station. And then all of a sudden, you just hear Holly's voice say, KRDA is clear. It's coming from somewhere else. Roddy turns around and sees her, and he's like, oh, shit. Okay, she walks up to him. She's like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I thought I killed you. And he's like, I thought you did too. And she's like, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. And he's like looking at her like, yeah, okay. It's all going to be fine now. And she's like, can we just, boom, there's a fucking explosion. And this meeting is now being raided by riot gear cops.
All right.
Everybody starts getting killed. Gilbert gets killed. Everybody runs. Holly, she's able to escape out the front. So Roddy and Keith, they escape, but they still have to start shooting. Everybody is shooting. Now, despite the fact that Gilbert just said most cops are humans, every cop that we see here is an alien, and they have to kill all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're escaping and, killing alien cops. They get into an alley, and they're hiding. And Rowdy's like, oh, man, I got to find her. I got to find Holly. Keith is like, no way, man. And he has picked up a wristwatch that some alien dropped. And he's like trying to get it working. He's like, maybe I can get this working and we can listen in on him. So then down the alleyway, the cops are approaching. And there are also red flares being thrown. Because every time these riot cops show up, they start throwing red flares around so that everybody knows they're in town. While Keith is fiddling with the watch, this weird portal appears behind him, and it's just like a glowing hole in the ground. And there's a voice that says, attention, your wristwatch has malfunctioned. This entryway is temporary and will disappear in, and it starts counting down from 10, and they're like fighting about what to do about it. Because Rowdy's like, let's jump in, man. And Keith's like, man, no, we don't know what's going on down there. And then they jump in. Okay, so they're through the portal, and now they are in the alien base. All right. And it just looks like some weird concrete hallway. Mm-hmm. It's like underground somewhere. And they're sneaking around, and they have to sneak by some guards. And they can hear the guards' radios. And there's some dude saying like, yes, Operation Steel Fist has been a success. We eliminated the terrorists. And then the guards are like high-fiving each other like, yeah, we got him. All right. So as they're sneaking around, they start to hear this weird noise, and they get closer, and it's like applause and people cheering and clapping. And they walk into this door, and it's this like really nice ballroom. And it's full of all these well-dressed people, and they're all sitting at all these tables listening to this dude speak. And the guy is saying, our projections show that by 2025, not only America, but the whole planet will be under the control of this power alliance. And everybody's cheering, and he's like, yeah, gains have been substantial, both for us and for you, the human power elite. And everybody goes crazy. Yay, yay, yay. He's like, yeah, you've helped us in our ongoing quest for multi-dimensional expansion. And in return, all of your household incomes have grown by 39%. They're like, yay. So they're looking around. They see humans and aliens sitting at all the tables together, like all drinking and celebrating. Yeah. Everything's still black and white. Now they're wearing contacts. And then they just hear this familiar voice, and it's like, how you boys doing? I didn't know you'd been recruited. And it's the bum that was watching TV earlier who was like, oh, second time tonight this asshole's cut in. But this time, instead of being a dirty, smelly bum, he's like wearing a tuxedo and his hair is cut and he probably smells pretty good. He's drinking champagne and just having a good time at the party. And he's like, welcome aboard. You should have dressed for the party now that you can afford it. Come on, I'll show you around. Keith's like, man, where are we? Well, backstage at the show, fellas. It's pretty weird, but it serves its purpose. Hey, check this out. And then he shows them this weird space travel platform that they have in this base. And you can hear an announcement saying like Flight Alpha 7 to some fucking planet, I don't know, is ready to board. And then this dude in a business suit carrying a briefcase just like walks up onto this platform and then just shoots off into space like a little ball of light.
Yeah.
So the ex-bum is like, yeah, I don't know. It's got something to do with bending light or something like that, but it sure is neat. And, you can travel pretty much anywhere you want. I mean, even interplanetary. And they're like, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. He's like, wait till you see what's next. And he takes them into the control room where the master signal goes out to everywhere in the planet. The signal that the hacker was talking about in his pirate videos.
Uh-huh.
Where he's like, we cannot penetrate their signal and it must be shut off at the source. This is the signal that hides everything that they can see with the sunglasses.
Yeah, okay.
So on the other side of the control room is the Cable 54 studio.
Uh-huh.
And Rowdy's like, oh, hey, wow, Cable 54. Yeah, can we go in? I've never seen the inside of a TV station. And the guy's like, yeah, well, I see these guards over here. They're my friends. I'll see what I can do. Hey, can we go inside trying to give my friends a tour? And the guy's like, come on, get serious. Do you guys have your authorization cards? And Rowdy just goes, right here. And then him and Keith pull out their guns and shoot the fucking guards. The bum is like, oh, man. He's all scared. And Rowdy's like, where's that signal? Well, up on the roof, I think. Rowdy's like, Holly works in there. If she's alive, maybe we can get in and to the roof. Then we can break that signal. The bum's like, boys, you're making a big mistake. Keith looks at him and he's like, you made the mistake. It's like, no, you guys, it's just business, okay? They're going to leave us alone and make us rich. What's wrong with having it good for a change? What's the threat? We all sell out every day. Might as well be on the winning team, that's all. And then more guards show up. And they just have to fucking shoot him. While they're distracted doing that, the bum just looks at him and goes, see ya, boys. And then pushes his watch and he disappears. So then Keith pulls out a hand grenade. We didn't know he had this, but it's cool. And he blows open the door. So everybody in the studio is panicking. So he and Roddy, they just start killing all the aliens. They pick up the guards' guns and now they're using those. Roddy's looking for Holly, and there's like, security alert, intruders on level 4. So Roddy and Keith bust into this room where it's nothing but employees working at desks, and they all look up at him, and Roddy, who's holding like an M16, just says, well, I sure hate to interrupt you folks, but how do I get to the roof? And then everybody just starts panicking and running. He pulls some lady aside, she tells him to go to the elevator. They go for it, but it's blocked by guards who are running around looking for these guys, and they are talking into fucking PKE meters from Ghostbusters. No shit. They use the same props. So now they're sneaking around. They keep killing guards as they go, and they spare the humans. Security keeps closing in on them, and then all of a sudden they fucking find Holly. He's like, Holly, come on, we gotta go. So now they're all three running together, and there's a big voice over the intercom that says, alert, intruders heading for the roof. Security starts closing in on them. So Rowdy, they make it into the stairwell. He just bolts up the stairs ahead of them, and he's like, let's go! So he runs up the stairs and through some door, but behind him, Holly, who is standing next to Keith, just pulls out a pistol and holds it to his head. Keith, looks up wait a minute, what? And then as the scene cuts away, we hear the shot.
Yeah.
Boom! And it just cuts to Roddy on the roof, turning around, wondering why they're not behind him. And we're just like, fuck. Keith David.
Yeah.
Damn
Poor
it.
guy.
So then Roddy finds the big, giant satellite dish that's broadcasting the signal. He pulls his gun out and he aims at it. And he's like, Frank, you and Holly clear? You just hear Holly go, I'm clear. Are you? He turns around and he sees Holly pointing her gun at him. And he's like, oh, shit. She looks at him. She's like, don't do it. Don't interfere. You can't win. And then right then, a chopper rises up on the side of the building. And it's like, drop your weapon. So Roddy drops his gun. And it says, step away or we'll open fire. Holly's talking to him. She's like, come inside. Come inside with me. You have 10 seconds. Right then, Roddy's like, yeah, I guess. I guess I'm screwed. Made it all the way here and gotta back down. But then he pulls the secret pistol out of his sleeve, gets down on his knee, and puts one right into that Holly bitch. Drops her dead. And he turns around and he aims at the dish. And there's just a shot of his face and he goes, fuck it. And shoots it. The whole thing explodes. As it is exploding, the chopper then fills Roddy Piper with bullets. And he goes down. And he's just laying there, dying, watching the dish explode. And then he flips it off. Gives it the bird. Okay, so now the dish is destroyed. Signal is no longer being broadcast. So now the whole world can see all of the weird signs everywhere. They can see the aliens. They can see the saucers. They can hear the thing going, sleep, sleep.
Yeah.
The first of this we see in the Cable 54 newsroom. And the two anchors are sitting there saying the news. And but now that it's not through sunglasses, all of the aliens are in color. Okay, so we can see them in color for the first time. And they're all like blue and red.
Yeah. It's fucking weird.
And there's a cameraman. He just yells out, Gloria, you look like shit. And then it shows some bar, and everybody starts freaking out. Everybody except this one alien who's just sitting at the bar watching TV.
Yeah.
He's watching another alien on TV. And everybody's freaking out around him. And he is just sitting there watching TV. He has no idea what's going on. And then for the final shot of the movie, we get the best shot of the movie. We see this blonde chick, all right? And she's naked. Got big, beautiful human tits. And she's obviously riding some dude. While she's doing that, she looks over at the television and there's a car commercial on TV. And in the commercial is a fucking alien.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the hell? And then she looks down at the dude she's riding, and he's a fucking bare-chested alien. And in addition to his fucked up face, his whole body is like blue and red and weird looking. And he just looks up at her and goes, hey, what's wrong, baby? And then the credits roll. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. It's a nice little upturn after watching everyone die.
Yeah. So there you go, baby. We finally did it. They live.
Yes, they do.
I know before I said, where are the schizophrenics? But I've kind of figured out that that was part of the point of the movie, where it's making you look at those people and be like, what if they had a reason to do all that shit?
Yeah. A lot of critics call this Carpenter's best movie. What do you think?
No.
Now, don't say that just because you like The Thing so much. I like The Thing. I like it better than They Live. But critically, is it a better film?
No. I think it's kind of childish. Like, it lays it on pretty thick.
They Live?
This is your God.
Yeah, okay.
I want to print those up and pay for shit with them.
Yeah, that'll work. It'll work good.
I think it's a nice fantasy because it really starts out with the main character at a low point.
Yeah.
But it's like you could always have a purpose, you know?
Oh, yeah.
When he finds the sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's like
only John Carpenter could take like a fucking homeless person and make him the hero of his movie.
Yeah.
I read something where at the very beginning where the dude is just standing in the street watching the TVs in the store.
Uh-huh.
On the TV, we see a shot of Mount Rushmore. All the presidents' faces, their eyes have shadows underneath them. And it's a very fleeting shot. I did run it back to look at it. But Abraham Lincoln looks like he's wearing sunglasses. So then Roddy Piper takes the role of the great emancipator.
There you go.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's They Live on Movies with Ron. You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter.
Instagram at Movies with Ron.
You can find us on movieswithron.com. If you're on iTunes, leave us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you.
I love the reviews, guys.
Yeah.
Keep them coming. All right, it's been fun.
All right. Love you guys.
And take care.
Movies with Ron.